Tulsa, I think, might have been the whole game may have been zone. And they're playing it a lot more than Connecticut teams traditionally have played, without a doubt.
But they do still switch it up, and they run man, they run zone. How do you go in and then plan on attacking that? Do you go in with a zone offense in mind, like you did with Xavier, or do you just stick to what you got?
No. We will have certain things that we're going to be looking for offensively. I mean, against a man as well as against a zone, without a doubt.
Going back to Tuesday's game, you had a lot of close calls against some top teams this year, and finally get over the hump with that win. What does that do for you guys going forward once you're in those close games? And again, is it a confidence booster and gives you guys confidence going forward when they're in the same situation?
I'm telling the guys that, yes. I don't think we ever were not confident, and I'm trying to think back through every game. Just about every game, against the top team that we've lost, it's been. I remember coming to this, following that, or going into the media room afterwards and saying it's little things. Like we're close. It's like there wasn't gaping holes or gaping deficiencies. It was little things in each game. And so I think in this game we did a much better job of negating the little mistakes. And so I just said we got a film session, and part of that is not just looking at Connecticut, but we're going to look at us, and hopefully we can see, okay, in game X, at this point we didn't do this, and against Xavier we did do this, and try to reinforce that, just to understand it's the little things. But, to go in and win that game against that team this year is a big win. They're very good. They beat us 3 times last year. And so hopefully that will give us some confidence, but not confidence, I knew we could do it, but confidence, when we do A, B, C, and D, this will be the outcome. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. John, what stands out to you about the last time you played Connecticut? That was a pretty crazy game.
Fill me in on that game.
Double overtime, Devontae at the end, Otto scores it.
Devontae and Otto Porter show.
Yes.
I haven't watched that game yet. I just remember Devontae and Otto making plays at the end. I remember Devontae hitting shots. I remember Otto just being all over the place in that game, just in terms of running down loose balls. I just remember Otto Porter feeling like he was a Tasmanian devil out there, just being all over the place, and the effort that he exuded is what is in my memory now. Right after practice, I'm gonna go back and look at that game, but I haven't looked at it yet.
Returning to Xavier, you guys attacked that 1-3-1 through the elbow pretty well. Was that a point of emphasis coming into the game, or did you make that adjustment?
No, we had practiced that. We thought we saw something there, and I think our guys did a good job executing. And then also getting it into the low block, then using that as a passing position. And I think BJ in particular, but Jesse also made some good plays from that position also. But no, we thought we could tweak it to where we could get it right there and then make it. But then once you get it there, it's just make a play. You can't script who you throw it to.
Their 1-3-1 is unique in the sense that they put the big man down at the bottom. How rare is that?
I haven't seen anyone play it like that.
Yeah.
I think I said that going into that game, you say 1-3-1, but it's totally different than how everyone else plays. They keep the big guy. They want to keep the big guy to protect the basket, and their guys are pretty good, particularly 55 up top of that. But it's not. You can't attack it if you go into it trying to attack it like how one would attack traditional 1-3-1. You don't succeed. I don't think.
Remember 2 years ago when you had a similar non-league matchup in the middle of league play with Michigan State. You said you weren't much of a fan of that, or do you still have the same feeling this year?
Yes. It just turned out that this is when they could do it. I wanted the series. But in a perfect world, we're in the middle of Big East play, and to step aside and then have a very important, very big, very emotional non-conference game. In my perfect world, which there is none, I would rather not do that.
On the flip side, the Xavier game obviously played really well defensively. If you were to nitpick, the one thing is that you only forced 5 Xavier turnovers. Is there something you're doing to force more turnovers against a UConn team that is pretty careful with the ball?
Not necessarily. I think we have to take care of the ball. We have to get good shots. If we're making them, we didn't force turnovers but that was the first time all year that they got out rebounded. And so, we got our possessions that way. And so as long as we are controlling the boards, yes, every coach will sit there and say, oh, yes, we love to have more turnovers, but that's not part of our game plan going into this. Let's cause more turnovers. Let's just make sure we're not turning the ball over. Let's make sure we're getting a good shot. And when it's necessary, to make the plays, someone I thought that was terrific is LJ. And, when there was a loose ball and we needed it, and you guys have heard me say, it's not just the last 2 minutes of the game, it's the 8-minute to 4-minute mark. During that stretch, he's coming up with big rebounds. He's running there. He got a big block, and then Devontae smacked it to him, and then he gets the dunk. He made plays when we needed plays to be made to make sure we won that game. And we haven't, and it's easy to talk about Trey. Trey was terrific. It's easy to talk about Devontae does what he does, and he was terrific. But LJ Peak made the plays, the winning plays that don't show up in the box score that allowed us to win that game that we haven't been making consistently enough in those other close games.
John, one question about the storm of the century that's coming here. If you're up there for a couple of days, do you look at film? If you're not going to be able to practice, if you're stuck up there for 2 or 3 days?
Are you going with us?
I'm not. I'm not going to be stuck up there for 2 or 3 days.
Well, we're going to think positive and hope that we can get home Saturday. That being said, we are prepared to stay. We do have a place to practice. We are prepared to start our Creighton Scout Saturday afternoon if we get stuck up there. So, perfect. Do we want to get stuck up there? No, but if we do, we're still in the practice. We're still preparing for the next game.
Just with UConn, in terms of kind of going back to realignment in a way, you guys could have easily ended up in their position if things had stayed the course, and instead of starting the new Big East, looking where you guys are now 2 years versus where they kind of are in the wake of realignment. How much more appreciative are you of how things turned out for you guys, if you are in any way?
I don't want to compare and contrast where we are to where they are. I love where we are. And so I'll just speak to that. I think that, as I remember, were you here then when we went through that?
Yes.
Some of the faces have changed, but I remember, I won't say the name, just like, what are you guys going to do? What are you guys going to do? And I'm thinking, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. You go through this realignment, everyone pronounced the Big East, who was it? Rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. That's the Big East. It's we're not going anywhere. We're the best basketball conference, and so I don't know that much about where they are, to be honest. But I feel pretty good about the Big East. I feel good about where Georgetown is.